Welcome back to my workshop. Now today I'm going to review a product that's been sent to me by Algolaser. Now as you may know, I've been using open frame lasers now for a couple of years. So for me this is another laser, but it's with a difference, okay? Their approach this time is slightly different. So let's see what's in the box and see what the differences are. Okay, so I've been sent these massive parcels here. Now there's two things here. The top bit here, which we're not going to review today, but it will become apparent what it is later on. Okay, so we'll worry about that later. Now this is what we're interested in, this massive box here. Let me get the cover off. Okay, so this is what we're interested in today. Now this is by a company called Algolaser. Okay, they've previously sent me a laser to review, which I'm still using now, and it's fantastic. Okay, and that's a 5.5 watt DIY kit open frame laser. Now for that you need to use it with a laptop, okay, running software such as Lightburn or something similar to that, Gerbil. But this one, apparently their new approach is that you can use this without a laptop. Okay, so for most existing laser users who have got used to using Lightburn, this probably won't make any difference, okay? But for a new user, maybe you want to get into lasering and you're doing crafts and you've been to craft fairs and you've seen all these little bits and pieces that have been cut out with lasers or been engraved with lasers, but you don't want to go through the process of learning a new piece of software. So this may be of some benefit to you. Now this is the Algolaser Alpha MK2 and it says it's super easy to use. Okay, let's have a quick look, see what it says on the side of the box here. Okay, obviously I know you'll be able to read this yourself when you get it, but just to go through it, 3.5 inch LCD screen. Now you'll see that in a moment. Powerful laser beams. Now as I say, my previous laser was a 5.5 watt, which was quite good. This is a 20 watt laser. That's lots better. 10 times faster engraving speed. If time is a concern, then this may be a benefit to you. A 400 by 400 engraving area. Okay, so that's about the standard size for an open frame laser, but that box over there will change that, but not in this video. Runs a 4-core dual MCU. Okay, now the display that you've got here and the control panel and all of the motherboard, they're running their own Algolaser operating system, okay, and that is all powered by this 4-core dual MCU. Built-in Wi-Fi, so you can connect this directly to your internet or your Wi-Fi system at home. Mobile Android operating system. You may have seen it in my previous video where I used the DIY kit. I actually use their app. It's a very good app and it talks quite well to the machine. And a heavy-duty metal frame. On the older frames, they used some small aluminium extrusion. Now this apparently uses a different type of frame, okay, as you can see here, okay, and we'll have a quick comparison between this frame and the old one. Right, that's enough talking. Let's get it out of the box and then I'll run through what's actually in the box. Right, I'll quickly go over all of this as I got it out of the box and then I'll look at each individual piece quickly as we go. Right, starting down this corner here, we've got a power cable, that's got a 3-pin plug on it, a power box, some air hoses for this, which is the air assist pump. We've got the front panel, we've got the rear panel, then we've got one of the Y-axis rails, then we've got the X-axis rail, and then the other Y-axis rail. At the back here, we've got 2 sets of instructions and materials and a piece of, I think that's a piece of ply. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Over this side, we've got a pair of safety glasses and a cloth for cleaning them. Then we've got the laser and we've got a USB cable. And then down here, we've got some spare lenses. And then finally here, we've got a little toolbox. So what I'll do is I'll go through all of those individually now, quickly looking at them in a little bit more detail. Going over this quickly, first thing we've got here is a laser engraving consumables package. Okay, in here we've just got 3 business cards, which are aluminium, I believe, but they're black, glossy black. I've used these in the past. They're very good, very impressive. They've got a number of cable ties, a piece of acrylic, which I think is about 3 mil or so thick, 3 or 4 mil thick, but that's black acrylic. A small brush for cleaning the laser, etc. And a piece of Velcro, which we'll find out what that's for later on. I should imagine that's part of the cable management. We also get a laser engraving user manual. Okay, yep. Right, looking through this paperwork here, we get a certificate. This is for the laser glasses. Okay, these look like they're not your standard just green ones. They're quite a funky colour, but there's a certificate for those. Conformity certificates. Okay, this is regarding the EMC compatibility of the machine. Okay, that's good. This one here is EMC radio frequency safety. This I believe is all about the Delta Mark II, Alpha Mark II, which is what we've got, the Gamma, Epsilon. These are all the different lasers that they do. You get a quick start guide and a quick start guide for the air assist pump, which is this thing here. Okay, we'll go over that in a moment. The quick start guide, I won't go over it completely, but it looks like it's going to be fairly simple. There's all the bits and pieces you've got. Exploded diagrams of how to assemble it. Okay, this all looks very simple to follow. How to focus the laser. And then some information on using software. Okay, and as I said, they use the Algolaser operating system. It looks like it gives you a good guide here on how to navigate that. That's good, that's good, that's good. And we get this sheet of very thin ply. Okay, this only looks like it's about 3 or 4 mil thick, but we'll be using that to cut something. Okay, I won't go into too much detail with these at the moment, but these are the main parts of the frame. Okay, this is quite thicker than I've used in the past. Let me just check. Not sure what it's made of, but this is the front panel. As you can see, it's got a touch screen on the front here, which I believe is colour. You've got your stop switch, we've got a key lock, and you've got a power button. Okay, on the back here, this is the back panel. You've got tension holes on either end. That's for adjusting the belt, which I'll show you later. The Y-axis beam and the other Y-axis beam with the stepper motor attached, and the X-axis beam with a slightly smaller stepper motor. So that's the gantry that goes across and actually holds your laser. Speaking of which, this is the part that actually holds the laser. Okay, and we'll look at that when we go to fit it. Let's leave that for now. Let's look at the other bits and pieces. Okay, we get a little toolbox here, and in this should be everything I need to actually assemble it. We've got a spanner, which is probably not the best quality in the world, but it should be more than enough for this assembly. You get all your screws. You get some bar joining pieces, which I'll show you in a moment. They're actually for joining this bar, which links both of the Y-axis gantries, a set of keys, 2 Allen keys, and some more screws. Okay, so there's everything in there we should need to actually assemble. As I say, we've got this rod here, which is a cross drive. Okay, so next we've got this. You might wonder, what the hell is that? Okay, there's a little box with 2 small condoms in it. What they are is they are finger protectors for when you're changing the lens. Okay, they give you 2 extra lenses here with 2 rubber O-rings as well. So they've thought about it. When you do need to change your lens, you can actually do it yourself. And they give you a method to do it with. So that's really good. Okay, next we have the power brick. Okay, this is 100 to 240 volts AC, obviously 50 to 60 hertz at 3 amps. That's the input. Output is 24 volts at 6 amps. Okay, so that's 144 watts. That should be more than enough to actually power this machine. And it comes with this, which is the cable for powering here. It comes with a standard UK 13 amp plug with a protection on it. So that should be good to go. A USB cable. Okay, this is standard USB or USB-A, whatever you want to call it, to a USB-C. Okay, so if I need to connect the computer to it, which I will eventually, that should be perfect. The air assist pump, okay, which comes with 2 bits of hose. Any of you that have seen any of my channel before, that have seen me using an air assist pump, this greatly increases how efficient your laser cuts, okay? Cuts and engraves, it makes the cut much cleaner. Okay, this one, it comes with a little control which we'll run over later. Okay, you can manually control it, but I think you can also control it on the screen, actually on the laser. Comes with 2 bits of pipe. Obviously one goes from here to a junction on the laser and the other one goes from that junction actually to the laser module. Speaking of which, here's the star of the show. This is the laser module that comes with it. Okay, I believe it's a 20 watt. Does it actually tell us here? Okay, optical power 20 watt, wavelength 450 plus or minus 5 nanometers. Okay, so it should be a blue laser, I believe. And you manually adjust the focus yourself. Okay, connector on the top, a couple of LEDs, one that says laser and one that says power. And it also comes with integrated air assist. Okay, so the air comes in the top here, okay, and obviously blows through here where the laser comes out. We look at that closer when we start cutting. You've got a single window here, but nothing around the sides. And that may have some issues. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. As I say, this is a 20 watt unit. My old laser was a 5 watt unit or 5.5 watt laser. So in theory, this should be like 4 times as good as that. And I'm hoping it is going to be. Right, I think that's all the bits and pieces. Let's start something in the way of assembly. Right, straight off the bat, looking at the very first page, this looks like it's going to be really simple to put together. Not quite as complicated as the previous kits that I've made. So we're going to start off with this side rail here, which is the Y axis. Okay, and it literally just should slot into the front panel. Okay, which it does. Now, it couldn't have been easier, could it really? Now you do exactly the same to the other side and to the back. I'll give you a close-up look at that and show you how easy that actually is. Okay, so on the side rail here, we have a screw hole in the top, and there's one there and one there. Okay, they correspond with some holes here, one on the top, one there, and one here. Okay, and you literally just slot it in. Now obviously you shouldn't have to force this. Okay, that's it. And then you take one of your screws that you've got the most of, okay, which is these little fellas here. One goes in the top, which went in nicely. One goes in here. That was easy enough. Now the Allen keys you've got, 2 different sizes. Is it the larger one? Okay, the smaller Allen key that you get in the kit, that's what fits in these. Just quickly tighten those up. All right, I would recommend probably not tightening them up fully at the moment. Just get them into place. Okay, that was so easy. Now what we've got to do is exactly the same on this corner, and that corner over there. So I'll get on with that so you can see what I'm doing. Right, so I've got the 4 outside rails together now. Now that was suspiciously easy, okay? Literally 3 screws in each corner. It all sits square, it all fits in together. Now I'm assembling it on a very flat surface, okay? It's probably a good idea, rather than trying to do this on your living room carpet or something, try and do it on a solid, firm, flat base, okay? It might not make any difference, but you want to give it the best shot you can. Okay, I've got the screws in each corner now. I'm going to give them a quick tighten up and then I'll move on to the next part. Right, next is the first electrical connection. It's not difficult, don't panic. It's easy enough to do, and it's on the y-axis. So this is the front of the machine. On your right-hand side at the front, where the stepper motor is. Okay, you lift it up. There's a little connector here, and you just literally plug that in. It'll only go in one way. That's done. Right, the next step is to assemble this X-axis gantry. Okay, this is the part that the laser actually sits on. Now this is a simple case of, there's a couple of screws in each end, and they go through these brackets here. Okay, this one moves quite freely. This one is driven by the belt. Okay, so you literally line up the holes in here with the holes in the gantry, and you stick another of your screws in there. Okay, you'll notice I'll put one at the front and one right at the back. Don't put one in here just for a second. This is for your tension. These are actually to retain it. Right, now what we've got to do is exactly the same on the other end. Okay, exactly the same again. 2 screws, one here and one here. This is slightly more difficult because there's more stuff in the way, but I'm sure you can do it. Okay, just don't trap any of the wires or cables or anything. Get your screw in, line it up with a hole, and then thread it in. Okay, remember, don't force them in. They should go in finger tight. Okay, now you've got all 4 in. You can give them a little bit of a nip up just to make sure they're tight. Same on the other end. Right, so that is the X-axis gantry. Okay, the next part, according to the instructions, is to actually mount the laser. Now that is simple. It literally just slides in, locks off, and that's mounted. Okay, then we've got to plug it in. But let me just show you how that actually works, just so you're aware. Okay, let's take that off, get you in for a closer look. Okay, so looking at the back of the laser module here, okay, you've got this, it's effectively a dovetail. Okay, and that slides into here. And then what happens is you have this cam lock, which pinches it together. So these 2 sides here pinch on to the laser. Okay, so that's what actually holds it on. Okay, so it couldn't be easier. You literally slide the dovetail in and pinch it up. Okay, and now that's fairly solid. Okay, so that was easy enough. Right, let's plug some bits and pieces in. Okay, so on top of the laser here, you've got the electrical connection. Now it looks like the electrical connection's been tucked away here. So if we just pull that free, okay, this will only fit in one way because it's ganged up as 2 and 1. And if you look on there, there's a keyway. So that should go 2 and 1. That should just slot in there. Okay, feels like a nice sturdy connection. And we have to put in the air. So what you've got to do now is you've got 2 lots of hoses. Okay, there's a thinner one and a fatter one. Now select the thinner one, unwind it. Or if you can't be bothered, just cut it. Okay, there's 2 bits of hose there. Why have I got 2 bits of hose? Okay, so there's 2 bits of hose here. Take one of the pieces, that slots in the top of your laser. Okay, just push it in and it should be solid. And then that fits into this red module here. Okay, we might have to sort this out in a minute because that's a bit curly. Right, and I believe that goes in there, and that one goes in there. Okay, that's a bit curly, might need a bit of straightening out. Right, if you need to get this back out again, there's a little black collar there, just push that down and then the hose will come out. Okay, push it back in and that's secure again. Right, now for your second little electrical connection, on the side of this red block here, you've got this little 2-pin wire coming out here. There should be another one right next to it. Okay, I believe this is for your limit switches. Okay, and that should go in like that. Okay, clicks together, shouldn't be able to pull it apart. If you want to pull it apart, push this little tag down and it pulls apart again. Okay, we don't want to take it apart, we want to put it together. Right, that's that connection. Right, the next electrical connection is here. Okay, we've got a white connector and a yellow connector. This one goes to the laser, this one goes to all the controls. They've got to plug into the motherboard at the front. So the easiest way to do it is to lift up the machine. Okay, so you can actually see them here. And it only goes one way, so you can't get this wrong. Let me get you in for a closer look. Okay, so the white connector to the white connector, obviously. You probably can't see that. That clipped in. And then the yellow connector to the yellow connector. Okay, you shouldn't have to force those. They've gone in securely. That's that part done. That was easy. Right, the next part is the second skinny air pipe. Okay, that literally goes in the control panel here, or control box. Same again, push it in. But now this has to go underneath. Okay, there's a couple of clips here. I'll turn it over and show you where they go. Okay, so we're going to put this bit of pipe work where it goes. Easiest way to do it is to lift up the laser. Okay, like this. Hopefully you can see. Now this pipe work has got to go through these clips. Okay, along with the other cable. It's 1 and 2. Oh, I'm making this look so easy. Okay, so you should end up with this going through those two. Okay, and you can lay it back down and you can see it's in place. All right, this is where we connect the air pump to. All right, getting there, getting there. Right, if you remember a little while ago when we put this X-axis gantry on, okay, this is the X-axis gantry. There was a screw hole in the middle and that's for the tensioner. So what you do is you take your, what should be your last 12mm long screw and that screws in. Now, you may screw this in and it may not feel like it's actually doing anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over and show you how the tensioner works. Okay, and then what you should be looking for. Okay, so let me turn it over and I'll show you the bottom of this. Right, so we're now looking at the bottom of the gantry. Okay, this is the drive belt for the X-axis. The screw we just put in is right here. Okay, you probably can't see it from there. But what I'll do is I'll put my Allen key. There you go. That's actually in the end of the screw. Now that screw pulls this sprocket backwards and forwards. Okay, now you can try and tighten that as much as you like at the moment. It's not going to go anywhere. And what you need to do is try and adjust this belt. Okay, but on the top here is a locking nut. So if we undo that, so turn it anti-clockwise. Okay, that now becomes loose. So when you tighten up the screw, this will move backwards and forwards. Okay, I'll loosen it off so you can see what's happening. Okay, that's quite loose now. Yeah, if I turn it clockwise again. Okay, it starts tightening up. Now don't over tighten it. You just want it so it's quite tense. Okay, once you're happy, then nip this up. Now you may not need to do this. Okay, but that's just so you know how it's done, just in case you have any problems with your x-axis. Okay, that's that side done. Okay, so what we've just done is we've adjusted the belt that's under here for the x-axis. Now what we have to do, there's a belt on the y-axis on both sides. Okay, we have to do something similar, and the screws for those go in the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over and we can have a look and adjust those. Right, because I've got to turn it over again now, just because I'm a bit of an namby-pamby, I've taken my laser module off because I don't want to damage it. Okay, I'm now going to flip this onto its back so I can get to the tensioners. Okay, then that way I'm not squashing my laser module. It goes on and off easy enough, that's no problem. Right, the two screws that I've got, one in this side and one in this side, are the two bigger screws in your toolkit here, if I can get them out of the box. These are the slightly bigger screws. Okay, I'll show you where they go. Right, it's a little bit tricky to film this to show you what's happening, but this is the tension block. Okay, if you can see here, this is the belt. Okay, as I pull that, it tenses up the belt. Okay, so when you get your screw, this little screw here, okay, and you insert it in the back, okay, what you've got to do is screw it into this block. Then you literally just tighten it up and it pulls this in this direction and it pulls the cable, the belt tight. Now obviously you don't need to over tighten it. Okay, and then you do exactly the same to the other side. Okay, in this case, over here. Where's my other screw? Okay, so that's both of the rear tensioners. So that's the y-axis tightened up. Right, so while this is still upside down, after you've done your tensioner here and here, okay, what we've got to do is put the rod. Okay, so do you remember this rod I was talking about earlier on? Okay, it goes between this stepper motor and this shaft here. Okay, and what it does, it makes sure that this belt and this belt are driven at exactly the same time. Okay, now what we've got to do to prepare to put that in is move this gantry as far back as it will go. Okay, so it should just move and you'll feel it come to a solid stop. Once that's at the furthest point back, there we go, look at this end and we're going to get that shaft put in. Okay, so we need to get this shaft between that stepper motor there and this shaft here that's hiding behind the wires. Okay, and what we need is these, okay, these collets here. Okay, and what they are is they basically pinch the shaft and pinch the motor. Okay, so the easiest way to do it is probably to put these both on the shaft. Right, I'm hoping this is a good angle for you to be able to see. Okay, so I've got my shaft here. Best thing to do is slide both of these onto this shaft. Okay, like so. Then all you do is, so you can see it, put that on there, slide it so it then covers both, and then slide this end so again it covers both. So what you want to do is make sure that when you tighten these, it grips both this shaft and the motor and this shaft here. It'll all make sense. And then nip it up. Okay, this is with the smaller Allen key. So it's tightened on the shaft, it's tightened on the motor. Okay, again on the other side, make sure it's covering both the shaft and the motor, otherwise it will come off. Okay, tighten both of those. So this means that both of the y-axis belts will be running in exactly the same place. Okay, once you've got them all in, just give them a quick nip. Okay, that's that done. I'm not going to do that again, so I hope you could see that. Alright, just doing my final checks to make sure that the X gantry, the laser can move backwards and forwards on the X gantry. Now you have to be careful with your cable management here. This is where you probably need to put in some cable ties, okay, actually on here, to make sure that that doesn't actually catch on anything. Make sure the laser moves backwards and forwards. Now obviously make sure the gantry moves all the way to the front. But what I've noticed, I've just gone like this, and I've noticed my cable here is on the inside of the frame. Okay, that should actually be coming out of the side here and into the top. Now the easiest way for me to fix that is by taking the gantry off again. Okay, hopefully you won't have to do this. I'll take the gantry off again and I'll move it. Right, I've removed the gantry again and I moved the wire to the outside. Now I make these mistakes so you don't have to. It's a simple mistake to make, but now it's rectified. So now I can move it in both axes, no problem. So I think we're almost ready to power on. Right, before I power on, I think I better do something with this. Now it looks like the little strips of Velcro they gave you, they got a little tear down the middle, so you can actually pull those apart. Okay, and then what I'm going to use is those just around here, just to keep it all nice and tidy. Okay, because we don't want this catching on anything. Now I'm hoping that this hose will soften up a little bit at some point. Let's get around there. One more bit around there, I think. Okay, so that's a bit more tidy. Yeah, we like that. All right, powering it up. Okay, if we look on the main connection corner here, okay, here's the screen. So this is the front of the machine. The very bottom connector here is where your power lead goes in. So we'll plug that in. And then we have to plug that power lead into here. And then this one, obviously, goes in the plug. Right, so I've got the main power plugged in now. Everything's almost ready to go. The only thing I haven't done is plug in this. Okay, now this is the air assist pump. Let's have a quick look at that. I have done a previous video on this, not on this particular one, but it's a very similar design. So if you do want to know a little bit more about air assist pumps and why you would use them, etc., check out my previous videos and you might be able to find out exactly what these are all about. Right, so let's have a quick look at the instruction book that comes with this, plug it in, and then we'll be ready to power this little baby on. Right, a quick look at the air assist pump here. The quick start guide looks very intuitive. It's a 30 litre air pump, just in case you're interested. So that's, I presume that's 30 litres of air per minute. Basic information here. It tells you an overview about the pump. And then it gives you some directions on how to connect the air pipe. So let's do this while we're going along. Okay, so first of all, it shows you connecting the air pipe, which you get here. Now this is the fatter of the air pipes. Okay. Okay, if you look at this air pipe, it's got a connector on one end, a coupler on one end, and a blank pipe on the other. Now it's the blank pipe end that actually goes onto the pump. That just slips on like that. So whatever you do, don't try and put this end on there because that will be wrong. Have a quick look. Now it shows you for different machines. Okay, so this is for the Delta, this is for the Alpha, and it'll probably show you for the DIY as well. That's the Alpha and this is the DIY kit. Okay, but it's pretty simple. All you've got to do is connect this shiny end to your air pipe that you fitted previously. Okay, so move you around there a bit. Okay, do you remember this little air pipe here? Okay, this is the one that goes all the way around up here through this junction box and to the laser. Okay, and this should just be a case of a push fit. So let's do that. Yeah. Okay, all your cable and hose management, you'll have to sort out yourself, lay it however you want to lay it. In my case, I'm just going to lay it next to it like this. Okay, electrically, you've got your control box here. Okay, that should be fairly simple. Again, another tie. And then this obviously plugs into the machine. Now it should show you in here. Yeah, again, it shows you the Delta, the Alpha and the DIY kit. Ours is the Alpha, but ours is the Alpha MK2. Okay, just shows you connecting it to the control panel. So let's do that. Okay, if you remember earlier, this is where we plugged in our power supply. Now the second one, the larger one, is obviously where we plug in our air pump. Okay, there's a keyway by the looks of it, so it will only go in one way. Oh, and I plugged it in and straight away the air pump has started on full power. So let's try and turn it down. Okay, that looks fairly simple to use. Right, okay, let's see if that's actually got any air coming out of it. Right, so that's all plugged in. Just to check to make sure there's some air coming out of it. We'll turn it on. Okay, that's up full power. Now I can feel the air under here, okay? But we can do better than that. Let's take this off. We just lay it down here for a second so you can see it. And we'll see if it's actually blowing. Yeah, it's blowing. Okay, you can see that blowing. Right, but we can do even better than that. Let me show you. Right, so here I have an anemometer, okay, and all this does is measure airflow. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it down. Now we're not worried about the numbers here at the moment. I just want to demonstrate that it actually blows. So what I'm going to do is put that in front of the air assist pump here. Okay, so all I'm going to do is blow air from the laser through the anemometer, and you'll see these figures change here. I think at the moment I've got this set to cubic meters per minute. Okay, so as I say, it won't make a lot of difference. Can you see the numbers? Let's have a look. Okay, and we just turn it up. You can see it start spinning up there. Okay, and I'll just increase it. And you'll see the values increasing. Okay, so that's just to give you an idea that it actually blows some air. You don't need to worry about these numbers. You don't need to test this because I've just done it for you. Right, let's put the laser back in. Right, so before we turn it on, just for reference here, now here's a stop switch. It's an emergency stop switch. Push it, stops, turn it, it starts again. Now I'm going to leave that pushed in, so I should get a warning when I first start. Also, the keys that you get in the kit, okay, these are to stop you leaving it unattended. If you've got children around, you can lock it so they can't start it. Okay, I'm going to put that on lock. So in theory, I shouldn't be able to start it. Okay, so this is before I've even turned it on. Right, so we know it's powered up because the air assist is getting power. Let's push the button. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the screen started. And it's giving me a warning. Okay, it's giving me 2 warnings. One is the device is locked and will not start, and it will shut down, which is done. Okay, that's because of this key. So if I turn it off, I'll turn it on, start it up again, screen starts booting, red warning, and that should be because of this. Okay, so both of those warning and safety devices are working. Right, the screen is starting. Let's have a quick look and see what it's showing us. Right, very first greeting here, it's asking you to select which language you want it in. I'm English, obviously, so I'm going to select English. But you have got all of these different languages, depends on which market you're in. There's quite a few languages in there. Obviously, I'm going to go for English. Okay, once I'm done, push the back arrow. So navigating this screen is seems quite easy. Okay, so let's push this next button. Connecting Wi-Fi. Okay, first thing it wants me to do is connect to my Wi-Fi. There's my, obviously, my Wi-Fi, so let's connect to that. Let's get me number. Right, you might want to know why it needs to connect to the Wi-Fi. Well, obviously you can use the mobile app on your phone, so you can control this. So that needs to share the Wi-Fi connection. But also you can do some software updates as well. So I'm going to select this. Okay, and then I'm going to put in my PIN number. I'm not going to show you what that is because that would be stupid. Right, so we've got it all powered up. I've put in my Wi-Fi code and I've done a firmware update. I won't cover that in this video. It's a simple process. You just go into settings and check for updates and it will update to the latest level. But what you're interested in is how easy is it to use. Now it says on the box, it says super easy to use. So let's find out. Our very first burn, what we want to do is just quickly find something and burn it. Okay, so let's have a quick look through the menu to find a picture and then push the go button. Okay, just to give you an idea of how easy it is to use, I've just put in a piece of ply here. This is 3mm ply. My laser's over there at the back somewhere. So the very first thing we want to do is on the main screen here, we'll go to control. Now I'm going to use this, which is a phone dobber. Okay, so my big fat fingers don't get in the way. Go to control. Go to motion, push home, and you'll see the laser returns to the home position. Okay, we want to select a little project. Okay, so back to this is our home screen. Okay, and in here, we've got some projects. Okay, you've got an inbuilt SD card, which is actually on the motherboard. You've got a USB disk, which is, you can connect it to a computer and you can gain files from that way, or you've got various examples in here, okay, which you have to download from Algolaser. Okay, I think there's a couple in here. Yeah, there's a couple here. These are fairly big projects, which I'll do in a moment. Well, I'll do in another video. But all we want to do for now is we just want to get this thing burning. Okay, if we go onto the SD card, select a folder, and there's loads of different pictures in here. Okay, we'll pick this one of some funky gnomes. Okay, all we want to do is engrave that. So we will push engrave. Okay, and on this screen here, you get options, lots of options. Okay, the material you're using here, birch plywood, but you've got all sorts of different materials here. Look, loads of it, acrylics, cardboard, corrugated cardboard, denim, rubber, epoxy panel, bamboo, stainless steel, dry leaves. Okay, but obviously we just want something simple, so we're going to select birch plywood. Okay, how much do we want it to engrave? Now obviously if you have it lots of power, slow speed, you're going to get a really dark engraving. If you get it too fast with low power, you're going to get very, very light engraving. Okay, we're just going to go somewhere in the middle. We'll go for this little baby here. And it tells you the speed. It's 1,500. No, 15,000. I think that's millimeters per minute. Okay, at 60% power. That will do. We want it this sort of shade. Okay, confirm that. That takes us back to this control panel here. Tells us our 60% power and fast speed, high quality, which you can obviously change to highest or medium quality. Okay, we'll leave it on high quality for now. When I've cut this out, do I want to cut the border? Afterwards, if I select yes, it wants to know whether I want a round border, square one, or whatever. Okay, we'll go for a square one. Now it needs to know, because it's going to cut this out, it needs to know how thick the material is. Okay, in this case, you've got a little scrolly wheel here. We're going to opt for 3mm, and then you confirm. Once you're happy with all this malarkey, press processing, and what it does, it shows you the screen. Okay, and down in the corner here, you can see our little, that's our little picture. That's what we want to engrave. So wherever we move this on here, okay, the laser is going to move into that position. Okay, now I've already put a bit of ply on there, so we're going to move it down here. Now from here you can change the size of this. Okay, here We can push on the size. We can have this a little bit bigger if we want. Yeah, we'll take that to 100 millimeters wide, okay, by 55 high. These are linked, okay. You can unlink those so you can stretch it out of shape if you really want to. We want to keep it simple for now, okay. Okay, this little button here, the square with the little dot in it, and that's called a framing button, okay. And what they'll do is they'll move the laser into the position where it's going to engrave. So if we push it, now as you can see there, the little laser was alight there, so you can actually see where it is on the piece of wood. Okay, so if I do that again, right, so if I want it down in this corner here, what I could do is move my picture. Okay, frame it again. Okay, maybe I want to go this way a little bit. Frame. Okay, so I'm happy where that's going to be. Right, before we start our engraving, what we need to do is actually focus the laser. So what you need to do is bring your laser over the top of the material that you're going to be lasering. Okay, and on the side here, we've got a little lever. Pull that down and it makes, obviously, the laser loose. Now, in the packet, you get this little top hat thing. And what you need to do is put that down by the side. Okay, and then lower the laser onto it and then lock it into position. Okay, that gives a fixed distance between the bottom of the laser and the material you're cutting. Okay, so wherever it goes on here, you know that it's the same distance. Okay, right. And before we start, what we want to do is make sure we got some extraction. Now, I'm lucky enough, I've got this thing here. So let's turn that on. Okay, then we shouldn't smoke ourselves out. Now all I've got to do basically is push the start button. Okay, and then this will burn away and give us our end result. Right, while that's burning away, it's only going to take a couple of minutes. Obviously, if you're going to be looking anywhere near the laser, make sure you've got the funky laser glasses on. Okay, now this should only take a couple of minutes. Now I've had a bit of an issue. Okay, part of the screen on this machine wasn't responding correctly. Now what's happened, I've contacted Algolaser tech support team. They're on the case now and we're trying to resolve that issue as we speak. Okay, so you can still do things like this. And I've also connected the laser to Lightburn software using my laptop. Now everything on there seems to work fine, no problems at all. So if you're used to using Lightburn, then that'll be great. But the on-screen controls, at the moment, I've got some issues, particularly with this machine. Okay, all the other machines I've seen online have been fine. It's just something on this one. As soon as I get it resolved, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, we're burning some gnomes. So this is live speed at the moment. Okay, I've not sped this up at all. So it's quite impressively burning in live time. But what I'll do is I'll quickly speed this up just so you can see the end result. Right, while the project is underway, you obviously get some control over the screen. It gives you a progress bar here, tells you how far it's gone. If you need to stop it, just push this button. If you want to pause it, just push this button. Okay, and it gives you some details of what's actually in progress. Right, still going. It's not been long. Right, it's just coming up to the end of the engraving section, and now it should, because we selected the cutout, it should change the power and the speed, and it's now cutting out the outside edge. Just let that do its thing. Right, so that's finished. We push finish, okay, and then we can actually move it out of the way. And what we should have here is our finished little item. Now in theory I can get that out. If I can, get my fingernails in there. Look at that. Okay. Right, looks like I might need to adjust the settings a little bit next time. But that's worked. Okay, obviously we've been cutting this, which is wood. We've been cutting that. It's been a bit smoky. If we look at our little air quality meter here, yeah, that's in the red, 736, and that's PM 2.5. So you must have some extraction. So even though I had my big extractor going, this thing still makes a lot of smoke. Okay, so that was just one really quick project here, straight from the machine, no use of a computer. So these are stored on the actual machine on the SD card. Now I'll go into it in a different video about transferring pictures from the laptop onto the card. But for now, just to prove that you can actually use this to engrave without too much trouble and without a computer. Okay. Is it super easy to use? I think once you get used to the Algolaser operating system, it probably will be. I've got issues with this machine, obviously, because of a technical issue, but I will get that resolved. Do I like it? Now, I think I do. Okay, it's a little bit more pricey than my last laser, but it's 4 times as powerful. Okay, the frame is a lot more sturdy than my previous lasers. Let me quickly show you the difference in the frames. Okay, just a quick comparison between the Algolaser DIY kit and the Algolaser Alpha MK2. Now, if you look, the framework is completely different. This one is extruded aluminium. Okay, I think they're 20mm thick. This one is more of a pressed metal frame. Okay, let's have a closer look and you'll be able to see the difference. Okay, so this is the DIY kit. Okay, it's an excellent machine, really good machine. Okay, but this, look at the difference. This is quite chunky, it's quite thick, which on the side rails is probably not too much of a problem. But on the cross rail here, okay, this is much more sturdy. Okay, which stops a lot of flex. Okay, there's a certain amount of flex in some of this. Not a lot, okay, but it's a lot different. And also, obviously, this is the 20-watt laser, and that little baby over there is the 5.5-watt laser. Okay, and also you get the operating system on here. You don't get it on here, but I use Lightburn anyway. Okay, so that's just basically looking at the 2 different machines. This one is obviously more expensive than this, so this is more of an entry level. But this is going to be excellent. Okay, so I think that will just about do it for this video. Obviously, I could go on for hours and hours and hours talking about this machine. I haven't even touched on the operating system. This was just basically an out-of-the-box assembly and first burn video. As I say, I have an issue with this machine, but I will get that resolved. The tech support has been excellent so far, but it hasn't stopped me using the machine just to do some simple projects, like the gnomes. Okay, I'm impressed so far, obviously, because the previous lasers I've had a few lasers, but they've all been 5.5-watt lasers. Now this one is a 20-watt laser. It cuts so much better, okay, a lot quicker. I've done projects in the past where I've had to do multiple cuts just to get through some 3mm ply. Okay, this would do it no problem in one cut. Okay, the operating system is intuitive to use. Okay, once you get used to it, it's no problem at all. The laser's good, the frame is sturdy, it comes with the air pump. One other thing I didn't mention, on the bottom of the laser you've got adjustable feet, so if you're going to put it on a work surface that's not quite level, okay, you can level it up. And what I would recommend is, if you do get a laser like this, make sure you get yourself a honeycomb, okay, because obviously you don't want to be cutting through whatever worktop you've got it on. Okay, I think that'll just about do it for this video. I will be doing subsequent videos covering different subjects. Okay, but for now, am I impressed? Yes, I am. Am I going to use it? Yes, I will. Can I use it with my laptop as well? Yes, I can. But can I use it on its own? Yes, I can. Right, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Now this button here, the little... but it didn't do that. Right, now we've got... but just one thing, I thought I'd better tell you, I assembled this, that was a bit... Let's do it again. Okay, that went in easy enough. And then you literally drop your Allen key. Okay, so I think that'll about... and my phone's about to die. Okay.